Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? SEL0320 representing JVS. I am back here again for another review, but this is an advanced screening review for Thor Ragnarok. I cannot believe what I'm gonna say. I guess some of you guys, you go on, you look at the, Rotten Tomatoes, you listen to the critics, listen to other people. I was very much so a skeptic. I went very much so apprehensive with the fact of, I look at Thor 1, I look at Thor 2, and I was like, I'm hearing Thor is a comedy. Thor is, all psychedelic colors and random music and all this kind of randomness and a fun film. And I was just like, I'm not pressed to see this. I think the first trailer that I saw, I was like, okay, this is the realm of possibility. When you got somebody like Cate Blanchett, you got somebody, that is one of the greatest, female actresses out there. And then you got like an all-star ensemble with Tessa, Thompson, you got Tom Hiddleston, and you got, of course, Mark Ruffalo now in it. I was like, how can you go wrong with that? And I was just like hearing these things, and I was like, nah. But I gotta say, me and my wife went into Thor Ragnarok very skeptical, and we came out like, this is one of the most enjoyable films this year. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but Thor Ragnarok was a good time at the movies. Like, I actually really enjoyed myself at the movies. But let's go ahead and just break it down. From the scope standpoint of this film, there are some shots, specifically with Hela. Everything that you get to see from what she can do, what she's capable of, and her presence is filmed and shot well. Like, they spared no expense to how they are able to capture the not just beauty, but the destructions that she's capable of, as well as even a lot of the fight sequences. There are some fight sequences, like the main one, the main attraction that a lot of people were like, all right, we get to see Thor and Hulk go at it. I think that they tailored it in a way that made it so much more enjoyable, because, when you see Avengers, you're like, there's no way that Thor can take the Hulk, And then when he used the hammer, he hits him, he's like, oh, snap. And in this one, Thor is beaten down to nothing in so many different ways before the fight even starts. Like, he's already lost so much. And I think that, honestly, Thor has matured himself, but I think he's kind of come into his own based on the way they're able to capture him. There are so many moments of just, like, not just comedic timing, but just things that Thor does that just is like, you poke fun at it the right way. You know what I'm trying to say? And I think that Chris Hemsworth displays himself very well, not just on camera, but just in his presence. Like, he's actually a lovable character, but very much so grounded in his mythology. Like, you are invested in him trying to be the hero, and he understands the sacrifice that he needs to do. But it's like, how do you get there? I'm kind of saying. And I think that they were able to capture those fight sequences as well. The psychedelic colors are definitely all over the place. But there are some really amazing looking shots in this film, and I got to see it in IMAX 3D, and it was actually really dope. It was actually some really good shots that they actually do. The music, it's not like Guardians 1 level. I don't know if some people have been saying that or not, but it's not like a whole bunch of different songs. But the songs that they do choose are definitely set in kind of like this 80s kind of thing. It's got this kind of like techno vibe to the score. The score is eloquently done, and it works for this film. In terms of the acting, let's go there. Yeah, Tessa Thompson, that as Valkyrie, I actually really love her character. Like, it's weird because her character is, based on the trailers, is not what I thought she was gonna give me. And she's very much so like, not this drunkard, but just like this haggard, war-ridden person. And her personality bleeds that. The Hulk, and I don't know if Mark Ruffalo has done the voice or whoever's doing the voice. I thought Lou Ferrigno was actually doing the voice, but either way, the Hulk has his own personality in this one. It's not just like, Mark Ruffalo. When Mark Ruffalo is on the camera, he shines. It's funny because seeing him and Chris Hemsworth banter is one of the most funniest things ever. But even more so when the Hulk himself is interacting with Thor, it's even more engaging, it's even more funny, it's even more like, okay, there are dimensions here. Did they go into those dimensions? Absolutely not, they don't. Chris Hemsworth to me, I think that he commits to what his character is. Not just him being a mythological character, but the history that we've been able to see just based on the chronological movies. We've seen him, you know, go through, you know, fighting whether or not he wants to be the king to, you know, before that, him wanting to aimlessly be the king. And then even after that, like him wanting to be a part of Earth and trying to blend in, but you know he can't. And now it's like the responsibility is all there. And on top of that, there's some interesting things that are happening with Anthony Hopkins' character in this one. And it's funny because at the very beginning, they set it on a very comedic moment with Tom Hiddleston's Loki. And then there's some surprise characters that do show up. There's a lot of Easter eggs that go back and forth from certain things that do show up. Even there are 2 post-credit scenes at the very end of the movie. But to me, I think this is the best that I've seen of Chris Hemsworth as this character. And he makes it his own because he commits to how random the character really is as much as how powerful he really should have been. I think that, matter of fact, this is the most OP I've seen Thor ever. You know what I'm trying to say? It's weird to say. There's a moment you notice it. There's a moment you're like, okay, I get that. This is, you know, the God of Thunder, you know, and I can definitely say that the other 2 movies, I didn't see that. I didn't feel that. I think that with the Hulk's character, they do a really good job as far as with the banter and adding into the envelopment of stuff, but this movie takes place on the location of Sakaar. And if anybody knows anything about Planet Hulk or World War Hulk, if you think that this movie is going to give you that, there are moments of that. They can definitely pick certain things out and like add to that later, but they do not commit to it in the way that you would think. If that's all I can really say. The pieces are all there. The pieces are all there. And I'm not saying that they don't do what they do with Hulk well, but I think that they just really do choose to leave a lot of that out, probably for a time standpoint. And that's one of the things about the story in this one. The pacing is actually done and processed very well. When they go back and forth between things that happen, there's so many different things, and there's different moments where you got stuff that's going on in Asgard, you got stuff that's going on, you know, Sakaar, you got other things that are going on when they're on Earth, and it's like it's paced very well and processed and consolidated very well. So it's like a really, you know, I guess it doesn't feel convoluted in any way. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's very much so on the entertainment level of the comedic moments. When they work, they are perfectly timed. But then when there are dramatic moments, they do sit there for a second and let you feel something. That was one of the drawbacks that I actually had with Guardians of the Galaxy. It was kind of like there were some forced comedic moments, but then you got moments like the Yondu ending that were very much so heartfelt, and you felt that and you were able to receive it. I actually feel like this movie was so much better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I feel like this movie defined what I guess Marvel is trying to have been showing us what they want to do. They want to be able to present these heroic characters, allow you to be able to feel some things, but generally just allow it to be something that is of fun appeal. And this is, I think, the best way they've ever depicted it. And that's weird to say because Guardians of the Galaxy, to me, was what defined that. This, to me, is on that level of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And this was what, in my opinion, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 should have been. There are some different other characters, like I said. I'll say that Idris's character does make an appearance. But all in all, I thought this was actually a really good ride. I actually really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. I'm sitting at a 9 out of 10. I actually really did enjoy it. And this is one of those movies that I can sit there and watch again and again and again, just for the comedic timing, just for the entertainment level, and just the scope is actually very visceral and it's really entertaining. And I just had a fun time with it. I had every low expectation you could think of, but yet I was able to actually have some fun and enjoyment with this film. And it's weird because you got something like, you know, The Last Jedi coming up, Justice League coming up, next year Avengers, the same year is going to be, you know, Aquaman. But this movie was one of the more entertaining superhero movies this year. And it's weird because Wonder Woman came out this year. And I got to say that both of them complement each other. And that's weird to say, but they really do. They really do. They really take the best of both worlds and they embrace them, but then they add something else to it, whether it be the comedic side for Thor Ragnarok, whether it be the heart and the essence behind what the brand is all about. And I think these two movies embody what Marvel and DC should be and are really internally about. So hopefully you enjoyed this review though. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Talk to you guys a little bit later on. I cannot believe I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. Peace, guys.